Hi there, and thank you for joining me today. For today's lesson, I'm going to be walking you through how to paint an ice cream cone with watercolor. For a list of what you need to do this tutorial, have a look at the video description below. And make sure to hit like if you enjoyed this video, and hit subscribe if you want to watch other tutorials just like this one. Alright, so to get started, we're going to draw a very loose outline of our ice cream cone. So you're basically going to want a simple V shape on the page. This is a really easy one to sketch out. And then a wavy line on the bottom. And your ice cream cone can vary in size. I'm going to make mine about this big, but you can change it as you go. And then I'm going to have a drip going off the right side. So I'll just show where that's going to go. So that's pretty much all you need as far as an outline. And then we're going to get started. So with all my watercolors, you'll notice I always start with a clear water wash before I add the color. So we're going to get some clear water on the brush. And I like to use a water tray that has two sides to it, or you can use 2 cups. And the reason for that is I always want clear water for my washes, but I often clean my brush in the other side so that the dirty water is where I clean my brush, the clearer water side is where I get my color from. That just helps you avoid putting down a layer of water and having a blue tinge or a gray tinge to it. So I've added clear water, and you want to make sure that you have just the right amount of water. So you want enough water that the whole triangle of the cone is covered, but not so much water that it's pooling, and it will take forever to dry too. So we're going to take a yellow ochre, and we're just going to follow the perimeter of the cone. So we're going to keep it a bit wavy on top, but mostly straight. And then come down. And I'm allowing some of the white space to show through. Now, I don't want too much white space in the center, so you can kind of lift up your canvas a little bit. But you're wanting to keep some. So watercolor, I often say, let people know that as it dries, it's going to lighten quite a bit. So you want it to be quite dark on the first coat if you're trying to keep it a little simpler and not do as many layers. The more complicated the painting, the more layers you're going to have. And what I like about watercolors is as you add layers of watercolor, you get to see the previous coat underneath, and that can be quite pretty. Alright, so that's all you want to do for the first layer. So now we have to let this dry, and we're going to go ahead and add the texture on the ice cream cone. Alright, so now that the first layer has had a chance to dry, we're going to go ahead and add some texture on the ice cream cone. So I'm going to do some little squares to make a waffle pattern, and I'm going to be using the yellow ochre again for this with a tiny bit of this reddish brown color, but any brown you have would be fine. So I have an angled brush, and this allows me to use the point of the brush to add a little bit of detail. So I'm going to take the yellow, and just going straight onto the page, I'm going to make a square. And you'll notice because it's quite dark here, you're not going to see a lot of contrast. So an area like this is where I'd take a little bit of that red and I'd add a tiny bit of contrast. And I'm not going to do that on all of them, but just some of them. So we're just going to keep going with the pattern. Square after square. It can be a bit monotonous, this stage of the painting. They don't have to be perfect. We're just trying to insinuate that there is a pattern there. I'm going to take my red. Before these ones dry, I'm just going to add a little bit to each one so that it bleeds into the square. So you can do one at a time, or for the sake of speed, you can do a few at a time. You'll notice mine aren't perfect. They're all a little bit different in shape, and that's okay. red again and just add a little bit of detail. Just keep making your way across until the whole ice cream cone is filled up. All right, so now that that's all done, we can go ahead and do the top of the ice cream cone. And for that, we're gonna be wanting to add clear water again. So you wanna just keep kind of a loose shape. We're adding clear water where we want the cone to be. And that's typical where it's a little wider on the bottom, wider, followed by a round top. And I'm gonna take pink for this one. Like a nice big fluffy pink ice cream cone will look good. And we're gonna fill it in. So we're gonna follow the perimeter. We're wanting to leave parts of the cone white, so it's okay if certain parts don't fill in right away. So I'm just kind of going around. And this is where I want the paint to drip off over here. So I'm gonna take a bit, I'm gonna add quite a bit of water here, and then I'm gonna lift it up and let it drip down. I don't want it to drip all the way off, so I'll stop right there. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of purple, and I'm gonna just add a little bit of purple in certain areas. We're gonna be coming back and darkening this a bit when it's dry, but I'm gonna add just a little bit of shadowing here. Purple, put up here. Then we're gonna let this dry. And I'm gonna come back and add another layer over top. So now that the pink has had time to dry, we are going to go ahead and add a second coat. So it's very similar to the first coat, except we're not gonna cover the whole thing. So for this one, I'm gonna wanna come around. So I'm adding clear water right here. I'm gonna wanna come around and just kinda add a little bit of a pillow there. So this is insinuating that the ice cream is sort of layered on. So we're just adding clear water followed by a little bit of pink right here. Then we're gonna do the same thing down here. So we're not going all the way up to here. We're gonna add some clear water right here. And then we're gonna follow the bottom here. I'm gonna do a little bit over here, so I'm gonna have it come around. I'm gonna take pink and come around where that clear water is. So I'm always kind of outlining the outside of the clear water. And then I can just come around with some pink down here. I don't have to add clear water first. And I'm just gonna trace out that little drip mark I made. Make it a little bit darker. And then I'm gonna take some pink and actually go like this. And I don't like those straight lines, so I'm gonna blend that in a little bit. All right, so I like that darkness. So now what I wanna do is add some drip marks on the ice cream cone. So I'm taking a wide brush like this, and I keep it quite full of water. The wetter the brush, the more the drips are gonna let go. So I'm gonna add some drips. And I use one hand, but you can also use two like that. I'm just gonna add some drips in and around the ice cream. And then quite a few on top. Not too much. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the yellow ochre. So I'm gonna add some on the ice cream cone, and then a few here, and a few here. And that's it for the ice cream cone. So now I'm gonna go ahead and sign it. And if you enjoyed painting this video, hit the like button below. And if you wanna see other videos just like this one, be sure to hit subscribe. And that way you'll be notified as soon as I create more. If there's anything you wanna see me paint and teach you to paint, make sure you leave a comment below. I'm always interested in seeing what you guys wanna see me paint. Thank you very much for watching.